Hey everyone, this is Codger. Living in Wisconsin, I have to deal with the snow during the winter months. As you can see from this footage, there is still snow on the ground, but this is actually my second ride for the 2023 riding season. Dealing with the snow creates its problems, but for me, there's a ceremony that starts off a riding season, and I'll let Pete tell you all about it.
Guys, welcome to the 2023 Donnie Smith Bike Show.
So let's get into it. Okay, what we're looking at here is a performance bagger, a King of the Bagger bike from Indian. I have included this because, Pete loves Indians, and apparently they've been dominating the King of the Baggers racing this year. Now here is an Arlen Ness bike. Everything Arlen Ness touches is class. This bike is no exception. The paint job's nice. There's nice little details on it. The pipes are awesome. It has Legend shocks. It's very tastefully done. If you like a bike that's tastefully done, Arlen Ness nails it every time. They don't get it wrong. Now, some of us like the outrageous, and that's fine too, but if you like a bike that's tastefully done, that's going to be performant and do everything you want it to do and be comfortable, Arlen Ness is probably the way to go with a bike. It's just really cool. I like tastefully done best, so this bike kind of nails it for me. And that was Pete pointing out the Legend shocks, which if you ride a Harley, that's a good addition to a motorcycle. Just makes riding a Harley so much better. It's a good thing to have done. Now here's a chopper, and I've included this because a biker brother who passed, Randy Stewart, had a bike similar to this, a sporty similar to this, same colors, chrome, a lot of style to it, the blues. It reminds me of Randy Stewart, so I just think it's awesome for that. It's awesome anyways, but it really reminds me of him. Now here's a panhead. I love this panhead. This is one of the greatest bikes at the show. Black and chrome as God intended, like Pete would say, but it also has white wall tires. And if you force me into it, I would say I like a panhead over a knucklehead. If somebody had a gun to my head, I would say panhead. They're both awesome, but I really love a panhead, and this motorcycle is a shining example of a panhead. And it also reminds me of my Fat Boy a little bit. There's a similarity, the same vein kind of feeling I get. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but an old school Harley isn't so far removed from a new one, so, there you go. Whether you feel the same way or not, I don't know, but that's how I feel about it. Now here's a 2002 Indian Chief. I think it's pretty cool, nice paint job. I love the fenders on an Indian like this. The Indian Chief on the fender, that's always a nice touch for an Indian. Just a beautiful machine. Whoever owns that should be proud. Now here's a custom trike, a chopper trike. You gotta kind of wonder what that's like to ride it, but it's a piece of art. It really is. That says something about you and everything. If you're the owner of this, you definitely have a personality that goes along with it. It's just really cool. I love Harleys and Indians because people can do things like this to their motorcycles. Now here's just a nice, I think this is a Pro Street, a 2020 Pro Street if I'm not wrong. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Just a nice motorcycle with a paint color that I really like. Now this is a 2020 Lowrider ST. Now obviously there's been some custom work done here, and again, that's why I love Harleys, because people customize them to their personality. I think it's really well done. Really nice and clean. Looks good in my book. I can definitely appreciate this motorcycle. It's just cool. It's class. And take a look at it. Look at that nice, the wings on there. I've included this footage here because This bike is for sale. If you want to buy it, the phone number will appear here and there. What I like about this machine here is the seat and the gas tank. Now, there's a paint job on the rear fender. Now this bike is for sale, apparently. I'm not sure how much for, but you can call that number. Now this is a bicycle with a kit on it that makes it motorized. I'm going to show you what that is right here, a 1917 Smith motor wheel. That's why I've included that footage. People used to do that back in the day, put one of those kits on a bicycle, and it was motorized. You didn't have to pedal everywhere all the time. It's just cool. A nice part of motorcycle history. It's just really neat. You don't see those things around too much. Now, this bike is just awesome. I would call this an original survivor. I don't know if there's any repop on there. I mean, it's hard to find original parts, so maybe there is, but I'm not saying there is. It's just I really don't know. But to me, it looks like an original survivor. 1927 Harley Davidson Model J. I love these type of motorcycles, these old school motorcycles. They're just so interesting and historic. The fact that it's still out there, alive, and it can run, just great. It's set up for 2-up. That's really cool too. I just love that sort of thing. Now here's a 1932 BSA, a classic British motorcycle. And this bike is awesome. Look how beautiful that paint job is. It's class in my book. Fishtail pipes. A fishtail pipe, I should say. I love British motorcycles, the old school ones. They just look awesome to me. They look like a real good piece of history. And this bike is obviously well maintained. Now here we have a 1942 Harley Davidson Model FL, another bike that I would call an original survivor. And you know, people restore bikes to their full splendor, and that's great. But if I was forced into the question between restored and an original survivor, I would pick the original survivor because it's wearing its history. I love that. This bike has been running since day one, as far as I know. I like the thought of that somebody has been maintaining this bike since it originally came out. Maybe it has had different owners, but they've kept it going. And everything about this is classic motorcycle. Everything's analog mechanical. You know, you could always fix it and keep it in repair if you take good care of it. And here's another BSA, 1957 BSA B33. Very well maintained motorcycle. Beautifully done. And again, I like British motorcycles, especially of that era. They're just class. Now this is a 1967 Tiger Cub. I would call this a commuter. Something you go around town on, maybe go back and forth to work on as a affordable mode of transportation, but it's still cool. Very nicely maintained and just a cool looking little machine there. Everything about it's pretty neat. And if you know me, you know I don't have anything against any motorcycle brand. I don't have anything against people who ride different type of motorcycles. So here's a Kawasaki Z1 900. You used to see these type of motorcycles all over the place. 1975. Now here's a really nice looking motorcycle. This is obviously a Harley. 1982, so that's going to be a shovel head. Just a really nice machine, you know. I'm not huge into flames, but I like them when they're tastefully done. When they're a bit subdued, I think the person who owns this has done a really good job of it. You know, each to their own. I like a subdued flame paint job, and I think this nails it. But, you know, each to their own, of course. Tell me what you think about it. And what do we got here? 1982 Harley Davidson XR 1000. You don't see too many of these around. I think it's pretty neat. It's not my flavor of Harley Davidson, but I like the history of Harley Davidson, and this is definitely a part of that. So it's cool in that sense to me. Now, if you really love this motorcycle, let me know in the comments. Tell me why. I will appreciate it more because of that. I do think it's pretty neat, and the fact that someone had it at the Donnie Smith Bike Show, I think that's awesome. It's not something you see every day. See, what are we on to next? Now, we have a Triumph. Can't remember what year. I think I do show it. It's a drag racer, though. There was a lady there who asked, where do you put the passenger? Where do you put the lady? I think she said. In the stands, I told her, because it's a drag racer. It's a 1972 Triumph drag racer. I like this machine. I like the paint job. I love everything about it. Just because it's one of those very unique things. It's not something you see every day, like I probably said 1,000 times already. And it's very well maintained and clean. I like that as well. Definitely harkens to a different era in motorcycling, for sure. I'm sure there are people that still do drag racing with motorcycles. I mean, why not? But this is really cool. Now, this motorcycle is a custom motorcycle that was put together by high schoolers, Lakeville High School in Minnesota. And I think, for high schoolers, they did an awesome job. That's pretty darn cool. Just think how much better they'll get at it over time. I think they did a really good job. For just starting out in life, it's pretty awesome. So let's give them a big round of applause for getting into the motorcycle world and doing something unique. Now here's a motorcycle I put in here just because of that paint job. It's subdued, but it's bright. The seat on this bike is phenomenal. The leather on there, whatever they did with that, it's just really cool. And you'll be able to see it in a minute. It says Eden Chopper Club. That's just cool. The paint job it's multicolored, but it's subdued. It's reflective, but it's subdued. I really dig that. It's not so loud, but it definitely lets you know it's there. It's just really a nice little custom kind of thing there. Now here we have a Royal Enfield. I don't know a lot about Royal Enfield. I'm assuming this is a race bike. I don't know much about race bikes. In fact, very little. I've never been into racing. But I do like Royal Enfields. I think they're a pretty neat machine. Like I said before, I like British machines, and Royal Enfield is definitely one of those bikes. It's pretty cool. Now I'm going to show you the speedometer here pretty soon, and we got to go. So that means we got to be moving. Now, this is a 1991 Harley-Davidson Sturgis. I've showed one of these on the channel before. This is one at the bike show. Again, it's a motorcycle that's classic and class. This bike only has 3 miles on it. If it was mine, it would be ridden. But each to their own. If somebody wants to keep a motorcycle in a collection and preserve it, that's fine too. Personally, I would just ride it. Because why wouldn't I? I'm a rider, I'm a biker. If I own a bike, I'm going to ride it. And that's just the way it is. But each to their own, like I keep saying. I can't help but show a bike like this, though, just because it's pretty neat. Now, this to me is the showstopper of the day. It's a 2005 Softail Deluxe. If you can read that stuff down there, hopefully you can a little bit, but if you can't, it's just a really cool motorcycle. A lot of custom work. It was done by Don Fox. Everything about this is custom for the most part, Is there anything original left on it? I'm sure there is, but, it's been customized to a T. The handlebars, the wheels, the pipes. So much chrome. And I've got a lot more footage. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot more footage. So I'm going to have to cut this video at this bike because I probably got another 2 parts to show you. At least one more part of the Donnie Smith Bike Show. But this is the Showstopper motorcycle because to me this is one of those bikes that exemplifies what you can do with a Harley Davidson or Indian on how you can customize it. It's part of the culture, and it screams the customization culture. The wheels are awesome. I love white walls. And I love chrome. Not everybody's into chrome. If you don't like chrome, this probably isn't the motorcycle for you. But you gotta admit, they did what they wanted to do, and they did it with a lot of style and pizzazz. It's just awesome. I love the black and white paint job. Everything is really cool. And whoever rides it really loves the Los Angeles Lakers. It's just cool. And here's a wide view shot. I just wanted to show that to you. But anyways, there will be more Donnie Smith Bike Show next week. But anyways, this has been the Codger. I want to remind all bikers to ride safe and keep the shiny side up. I want to remind everyone else to live their best life. And I want to remind everyone, please thank a veteran or active service member for their service. They have definitely earned your respect and gratitude. Have a great one. Man, what bike do I ride? The Fat Boy? Or the Low Rider? I don't really know. Probably the Fat Boy. The Low Rider's a lot of fun, but I'll tell you what you can do. You can like, comment, and subscribe, and share, while I try to decide which one I'm gonna ride. It's the best problem to have.